As we learned back in lesson 3.2b, we learned a little bit about telescopes. We learned about the refractor telescopes, the Newtonian reflector telescopes, and the Schmidt-Cassegrain telescopes. Now, let's think of something else, different kind of telescope. Let's get rid of these three types of telescopes and focus our attention to liquid mirror telescopes. So, what is a liquid mirror telescope? Well, simply put, a liquid mirror telescope is a telescope with mirrors made with a reflective liquid, as can see in the photo below. The liquid down here is very reflective. But to know where they came from, we have to think back. We have to go back to Isaac Newton, who back then noted that the free surface of a rotating liquid forms a circular parabola. But Isaac Newton could never make one of these types of telescopes because he was never able to stabilize the speed of rotation. And it wasn't until 1872 when Henry Ski of Dundee, New Zealand successfully constructed the first liquid mirror telescope. This video I have here will show a little bit about what and how a liquid mirror telescope works. As it spins, the liquid makes a parabola shape. So now a little bit more in depth about how liquid mirror telescopes work. Using a liquid mirror, usually mercury or gallium because they stay liquid at room temperature, they're used as the primary mirror, and by putting a camera at the focal point of the parabola, we can collect the images usually through a CCD camera. If we increase the speed of rotation, the deeper the parabolic shape happens, which shortens the focal length, and vice versa if we slow down the speed, which will then shallow the parabolic shape and increase the focal length. Now, more in depth and complex mirrors can be seen in this picture to the right. The rays come in and bounce off the liquid primary mirror, which then bounce off the secondary mirror, which is usually glass, onto the third tertiary mirror, which is also usually glass, and into the detector, or the CCD, which then will take and store the images. So, what are some advantages and disadvantages of a liquid mirror telescope? Well, the one advantage is that the very small cost, only about 1% of conventional telescope glass mirror. And since it looks straight up, it really can focus on the same part of the sky every time, which then we can either use all the photos that it takes or eliminate some of them to focus on certain things that we see. Now, the disadvantage of that is that it only can be pointed up and really can't be focused on any other object in the sky. And this was, if we tilt it, it would lose the shape of the parabola, and then it would not be able to mirror anymore. Also, the toxicity of metal and the vapor of mercury to humans and animals is a big concern. So, where right now are these telescopes being used? Well, first place is the International Liquid Mirror Telescope Project at the Department of Astrophysics, Geophysics, and Oceanography in France. It's a 4-meter diameter liquid mirror with a 8-meter focal length, who uses a CCD camera which sensor has a 4000 by 4000 pixel rating. Another place is a Large Zenith Telescope, which is used at the University of British Columbia in Canada, and it is actually the largest liquid mirror telescope on the Earth, with the diameter being 6 meters, and it costs just a little less than $1 million to build, and can be seen in this photo underneath. So now, what about the future for the liquid mirror telescopes? Well, how about the moon? Unfortunately, Mercury is unworkable on the moon, as it's very heavy and dense and it's way too expensive to launch up to the moon. It would also evaporate way too quickly in the lunar vacuum. But physics professor Ermanno Bora has been experimenting with ionic liquids, which are basically just molten salts, which have an evaporation rate of almost zero and remain liquid at room temperatures. But we're also working on trying to find a magnetic field liquid mirror telescope, which will then allow tilting to occur without disturbing the parabolic shape. This picture to the right will show you a little concept idea of the possible liquid mirror telescope that they can put on the moon, about the size and location of it. So I just want to thank NASA Science for the information I was able to find on their website, as well as the Department of Astrophysics, Geophysics, and Oceanography. Wikipedia gave me a couple of information, as well as the International Liquid Mirror Telescope Project.